So today on the HubSpot Summer Camp Technical Setup, we have our hosts today, Risa Gooding and Gal Tarab. Gal is part of my team. She's a digital sales strategist. So she's going to help me cover some of this because she really leads all the onboarding of our new clients here at Cacao Media. So she will be leading this session today, but I'm here to answer questions and to get you understanding what we will cover. So the first thing we're covering today is how to connect your website to HubSpot. Many of you are going to have different types of website. Not everybody's on WordPress, but we are going to cover how to get it connected to your WordPress, what's needed for that to happen. We'll also cover how to set up your domains and your landing pages and email and why you're doing this, because it's not often, sometimes we come across companies that don't often do this properly. So we want to explain to you why it's important to do this and how you really do it properly. Another point we want to help you cover today is how to filter out traffic. A lot of us are going to be on our website all the time, especially if you're a vendor, if you're working for a client, if you are from the company itself. So you don't want to count your own traffic in the analytics. So we're going to tell you and show you several ways how to filter out your own traffic. Then we would look at how to connect your social media accounts to HubSpot. So we will show you, the easy ways to connect your social media accounts. We will have a separate session about how to manage social media on HubSpot. So please don't expect us to get too deep into social media today. It's just about showing you the ways to connect it technically. We do want to spend some time on other useful integrations as well that we would like to show you how to connect your inbox, how to connect your calendar, and how to connect Zoom. Those are the top 3 most popular integrations that most people have. If you have another integration you would like us to discuss, send us a message and we will talk about it as well in this session. But we are only planning to cover these 3 today because we think we looked at your businesses and what most of you most likely will be using, and I think these 3 cover it. But if you use things like Eventbrite or you want to know how to connect SurveyMonkey or any of those things, just type us in the message and we will cover that once we reach there. We'll also look at how to set up custom properties in order to import your contacts correctly. This is also very essential when you're setting up HubSpot. And one of the things we will try to cover when we talk about this part is also why it's important to understand your business and your sales processes at this stage in order to know which custom properties to build. So we'll spend some time really going through that and helping you understand how to unfold your business processes to build this part of HubSpot. The next point we will cover is how to set up your GDPR rules. GDPR is essential today. Don't matter which market you're targeting, it's important for you to understand all about GDPR and how to set those rules. So we'll show you how to customize it, because I know sometimes you don't like to see those long messages. So you may have your own messages that you would want to put on your site. So we'll go through how to customize it and how to turn it on. And last but not least, we will talk about how to customize your portal for your team to see your most important properties. So of course, you would see that HubSpot has over 500 properties for both contacts and companies and your deals. You often don't need to see everything at once, but you do want to make sure that your team is filling out the correct information for each contact or company or deal that's coming in. So we'll show you how to set those criteria. But before we begin, we just want to tell you a bit about us, because some of you are new to us, and I just want to help you understand how we can help you going forward after these trainings, and how we can also help you for, anytime during these trainings even. So as you know, we are HubSpot Platinum Agency. We have offices in 3 locations in Tel Aviv, New York, and Nairobi. And we specialize in HubSpot, so which means we only serve HubSpot customers. Yes, we do integrations to other platforms like Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics when they use different CRMs, but we are the masters of HubSpot in Israel or most countries right now, because we don't do anything else. And I must tell you why it is that we took that decision is because, as you see, HubSpot is evolving every single day. Every single month, they push out new integrations or new features of their platforms. And we need to stay on top of this to give you the best value. So we choose to focus on HubSpot so we know how to really help you understand how to use HubSpot best for your business. Our team has over 10,000 hours working on HubSpot, so I don't think we have seen any scenario we cannot handle. And we are also certified. So between all of us, we have over 100 certificates as well. So we know exactly this platform really, really deep. So I don't think you can find a better resource to help you through this whole process. Next, just for you to understand who we actually serve and who we actually work with, we actually work with, go to the next slide, please, Gal. The next one. Yes. So we actually work with a wide range of companies. So regardless of where you think you fit into the space of industries or verticals, we've worked with cybersecurity, we've worked with medical companies, we work with travel companies, agriculture companies, you name it, we've seen it. So we really want you to understand that we bring in these sessions best practices after working with all of these types of companies. We also want to encourage you to join our HubSpot Customers Israel LinkedIn group, because there we actually put a lot of information in Hebrew and English for you. So if you prefer to get some content in Hebrew, you will have content in Hebrew in this group, which Gal and Rose, our other team members, lead. Don't expect me to speak any Hebrew to you. I'm sorry. I would love to one day, but that will be a challenge. Maybe by the end of this course, I will say something in Hebrew. Let's see. But the point is, joining this group will give you a lot of insights of how other companies who use HubSpot, especially in Israel, use it. And I purposely must say that we formed this group because Israel as a startup nation, which is outside of the US, trying to target the US audience mostly, they do have a bit of nuances in how they want to, lay out their sales and business processes. And we want to share that information with you. And we do that in that group. So do join us. However, we have another group we encourage you to join. I think you all got invitations from me to join this group this morning. It's the HubSpot Tribe, which is going to be accessible only to you. And what is the difference between this group and the LinkedIn group is that we are going to be answering your questions only in this group. So for the rest of the year, 2020, and for lifetime, you have access to us at Cacao Media to help you through any process without any additional cost. So because you've already been a part of this workshop with us, we will gladly answer any questions for you or help you through anything that you need in order to set up your HubSpot better. Because we recognize those of you who are attending this course today, your goal is to use HubSpot for yourself and not to hire an agency like ourselves all the time. And we are really open about it, and we really are dedicated to helping you succeed. So even if that means we lose you as a client, even though we'll be very happy to have you as a client, we still want to make sure you understand how to use the platform well. So we created this group just so you can get access to us, and we can help you throughout your setup or anything in HubSpot. So that being said, we just want to remind you, if you have any types of extra services you need from us, this is what we specialize in. So people think we're a HubSpot agency and we just do HubSpot. Well, we actually do much more than that. We actually help companies do their entire digital marketing and sales processes on HubSpot. So when we say we specialize in HubSpot, it's not that we just sit on the platform and regurgitate HubSpot. We actually help you understand what types of digital campaigns are best for your business, and then using HubSpot, implement those campaigns for you. So we choose to use HubSpot to do everything because it's just much easier for us to follow the entire customer journey from the time they become a lead to the time they close as a customer. So using HubSpot and using these services, we are able to deliver this value to you. So don't just think of us as a HubSpot agency. We are more into, I like to call ourselves digital sales strategists, because we're not just focused on the marketing. We are very much focused on sales processes as well. And we do help companies, get a lot out of HubSpot, even if they're not using HubSpot for sales per se, because some companies use Salesforce. We do use HubSpot to help enable and empower your sales teams to close deals better. So feel free to reach out for us for any of these services that you may feel that you need extra help with. So without further ado, I would love to hand you over to Gal now, who will take you through this technical setup. And of course, I'm in the background and I will always interject. Sorry, Gal, don't kill me. But I really just want to make sure that you guys understand the values. So as she goes through every section, I will be involved to point out a couple of things to you as well. Okay? Thank you for coming, and I'm very happy to have you guys with us.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for the introduction and for the amazing few first slides. I just saw that we have somebody who raised hand. So any questions or something you can put in the Q&A section. And we, of course, going to answer you in the end. So don't worry, we're not going to miss any of your questions. But if it's something that is relevant for now, I see that a lot of people is raising hands.
So let's answer some questions. Let's see what they have questions for. So you can unmute yourself and just ask us the questions or type it to us. Let's see.
I see that this is something that you can handle.
Yes. Okay, Adia.
Perfect.
I just unmuted you.
Perfect.
Adia, you need to unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you now.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Good.
Just a small question. Are we getting the presentation or a link to the video at the end?
Yes, you will get, after the call, you get the, after every training session, you get the videos so you can go over things for yourself as well, okay? And we also send you a summary as well of things, of points to note. So we'll send you an email right after the call that will give you the recording as well as a summary.
Great, amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Of course.
Great. Go for it.
Perfect. So now that we cover all the beginning and all the intro, it's time to dig in and understand how basically you're starting your basic technical setup in HubSpot. So the first tip that you need to take in mind is that you need to connect your website through HubSpot. And why is that? Basically, HubSpot is giving you all the information needed in one place. You can manage your landing pages, your email delivery, you can manage your analytics tool. Basically, everything that you need is going to be under one umbrella. So this is a place for you to connect HubSpot to your website to basically gather all this information so you can see everything in one place. And in order to do that, of course, there are permissions that you need to have. One of them is you need to have an admin access to your HubSpot, and you need an admin access to your website CMS. I'm saying CMS, it can be WordPress, Wix, whatever system that you're using. Once basically you decided that you have all the permission and you want to move on, you need to navigate it in the following steps, but I'm going to show it to you. So basically by going into settings here on the top and scroll all the way to reports and tracking code. HubSpot is giving you two options to implement this tracking code. One is by copy the code and implement it on the end of the body tag inside of the HTML of each and every single page that you have. And the other one, which is, in my opinion, much more simpler, you can go ahead and install the HubSpot all-in-one marketing forms pop-up live chat WordPress plugin. And why is it so amazing? And I'm not saying it because I really, it's super easy, first of all. And the second thing is that you don't need to understand or use code. You don't need to use your technical people or your website developer. You can do it all by yourself. Basically, by connecting to WordPress, you need to go into plugins. You have here the picture and click on Add New, search for HubSpot, click Install. And the second most important thing that you need to do is to activate it. This is how the app is going to look like. You need to click on install now. And in order to activate the app, the plugin basically, you need to put your portal ID. And in order to find it, all you need to go is to navigate into your system and see if I'm standing on the name of my company on the right-hand side, and I click, I can see the number of my company here. This is the portal ID for my company. So in the presentation that you're gonna get, don't use this number, and I'm going to say it again, don't use this number, otherwise you're going to connect to our portal, and you want to connect it to yours. Once you did that, this is everything that you need. You don't need to use code. You don't need to tag your tracking code. Basically, this is everything in one place. More than that, this plugin is going to help you by your forms and everything on the pop-ups. Everything you need, you can create from this plugin, and you don't need to call every 5 seconds to your developer. Once we did that and we installed it, it's time to discuss how basically we're going to create a subdomain in HubSpot. Because sometimes you want to create landing pages or to shift your entire blog into HubSpot or send in emails. All of these things require to create subdomains. And yes, this is something that it's going to connect to your HubSpot, to your website basically. But the most important thing is that you need to remember is that you can choose what kind of subdomain do you want to create. If you want just one for your landing pages or your email delivery, or even if you want to shift your blog to HubSpot. A lot of companies find it very helpful to move their blog into HubSpot because then they can see the entire information, not just about their landing pages and the conversion, but about the real content that they have in the website. They can see it on one place, on HubSpot. They can create amazing report about it, and they don't need to use multiple systems in order to do that. But one thing to remember, in order to do this step, you need two kinds of permission. One of them is a permission to the HubSpot, of course, you need to be admin. And of course, you need to have an access to the CNAME record in your DNS provider. I know it sounds complex. You can talk to your IT team. They're going to make sure it's going to be very simple. It's not something that you need to take care of it. Believe me. Once you decided that you want to create your domain, basically what you're going to do is, again, navigating into your settings and click on domains and URLs. As you can see already, we have connected our blog and our landing pages. But if you want, and you can go ahead and click on connect subdomain. And here you see 4 different kinds of connection that you can create. Basically, you can create from primary connection, which means this is the primary place for your content to be placed in. A secondary connection is the place for different kind of landing pages, not the most important ones. Maybe it's going to be for a specific industry or for specific countries or something that you want to take out of the primary one. We suggest to use your main focus one and not like multiple ones. A redirect one is basically, it's not going to store any kind of information, but it's going to shift the information on the exact moment that you're going to click on the URL into another domain that is stored in HubSpot. The other domain must be stored in HubSpot, otherwise it won't work. And of course, email sending. So in order to send emails through HubSpot, you need to connect your email server into the email sending. So this is the place for you to do it. But in our example, we're just going to connect a secondary one. I'm going to connect. This is the place for me to understand what kind of connection I'm going to do. Landing pages, blog, or email. I just want to put a side note that if you want to shift your blog into HubSpot, just keep in mind that you need to rebuild the entire blog in HubSpot. It includes the main page of the blog, which have all the different blog posts, and the page for the blog post. It's not just create a regular landing page. It's not just like that. You need to rebuild it. So just keep it in mind, but it's, once you do it, super simple. You have everything under one place. So I want to connect my landing pages, and I click on next. This is the time to choose your domain, basically my company name. This is what I connected once. And this is the place for you to choose and verify your URL. Basically, what kind of subdomain do you want to have? go.cacaomedia.com. Do you want it to have info, blog, any kind of subdomain that you prefer to use is okay, but keep in mind that the most relevant ones are info and go, and blog if you're talking about blog. So don't be too wide about it. Once I choose my subdomains and I click on next, I got to the hosting setup. This is the place for you to call your IT guy, or if you know how to do it yourself. You have 5 different steps that you need to accomplish. Every single step is just going to tell you, okay, I'm ready. I'm logged in to the DNS provider. Yes, I'm there. And once you're there, it's going to give you the host name and value that you need to take and put inside of your CNAME provider, DNS provider. Once you do that and click done, HubSpot is going to run a test and check if you did it correctly. Once you did, it's going to tell you, okay, you did it okay, and it's time to move on to the next setup. If you want to continue and create another subdomain, this is the time. And if something went wrong, it will tell you. And this is the time to check what went wrong and basically to fix that. Otherwise, this subdomain won't gonna work. This is all the steps. You can see it in the presentation, so you can see it in home later on. In order to connect your email subdomain, basically you need to follow the same steps that I just showed you before. Just do it the same with emails. Instead of taking primary connection or secondary, take email connection. This is the place for you to connect your email provider, and that's it. You're all set, and you can start creating landing pages and emails.
Wait, before you move on, Gal, I just want to say something about those 2 sections you just covered. It's important. I saw a question that came in from Emma about the website analytics, so I just wanted to make sure everyone saw it. She asked, can I check with the website analytics? It doesn't come with the free CRM. So when you install the tracking code, etc., it doesn't actually give you any data. So she's right. If you're using the free version of HubSpot, once you install the tracking code and everything that Gal just walked you through, it is not going to give you the access to the website analytics. You only have access to the analytics when you have the Pro or the Enterprise version. But it's still important to install that tracking code with the free version, because what it does is connect your forms to HubSpot. It also connects the cookie notification. So when we reach that part with the GDPR, you have to have that tracking code installed for the notice to come up. And also, if you want to use HubSpot's chat bot or live chat, you need to have the code installed in HubSpot. So this is why you actually still install that tracking code, even if you're using the free version. A couple of things that you should be aware of, as Gal pointed out, it really works well and it's much easier when you're using WordPress because you just download that plugin. But when you're using other CMS systems like Wix, or you have some custom designed platform, you do have to use that embedded tracking code as she showed you in the beginning, okay? So only with Wix, you have that plugin that you download. Everything else, you have to put in that embedded code on every page for it to work.
WordPress.
Exactly, sorry. Only with WordPress, sorry. With WordPress, you can download the plugin. Everything else, you have to put the embedded code on the pages, all right? Any questions before we move on? Yeah, go ahead, Gal.
But like I was said, it's very simple. Once you put the code in the end of the body text in the HTML, it's very simple. It's not even take you that long to do it. And inside of the presentation, you'll see a picture of where basically you need to put this code. So you
Yes.
just need to navigate it over there and copy and paste it, and that's it. So
I know
don't
the
get worried
fear of
about it.
some of our marketers are they don't like anything techy. So once they see the back of the platform, they get very nervous. So if you don't really want to be dealing with the back of your platform, get a WordPress platform. It's much easier to do it. All
Yeah,
right. So you can go ahead. Thank you so much, Gal.
of course. Let's continue. So once we covered how we're going to connect and track the website with the tracking code and how basically to create subdomains, like Teresa said in the beginning, sometimes we're going to use maybe our own team going to get inside of the website and do a lot of tests according to new forms that we're going to create or for new pipeline or everything that you have in the system. You're going to check that and test a lot of times. And or you're going to use an outsourced company and they're going to spend a lot of time in your system. So you don't want to track their information because otherwise the information won't be right and relevant for you because you'll see a lot of people going in and filling out your form, but basically none of them is relevant. So in order to do that, we need to take out all the irrelevant traffic. And HubSpot make it very easy to do it. All you need to do is to navigate in again. Wait, I'll just take it out. You need to navigate again into settings, reports, and tracking code. And you see here you have advanced tracking. This is the place for you to remove everything that is not relevant. Let's start by talking about the IP. I know that right now, most of you are working from home and you don't have like constant IP that you're going to use. So yeah, it's a bit complex to use it right now. But once you're going back to the office and everybody's going to have pretty much the same IP, or at least you're going to know the range of it, you just need to find out what is the IP that you want to take out, or at least ask the other company that you're working with, if you're working with, what is the IP address that they're working on, and exclude it from your list. Once you do that, and let's say, for example, this is my IP address because HubSpot knows to catch that, and I'll edit. All I need is to click save, and all the information from my side won't be counted inside of my report. If you want to add more than one, you just need to put comma in between the IP addresses. And basically, this is it. You're all set and done. You're just going to take yourself out and other people from your report. But not just IP addresses is relevant. You can take out bot filtering. You can take all different kind of bots. They're going to be inside of your website, visiting, clicking on CTAs, filling out forms. Yes, this is something that's going to happen a lot. And in order to do that, all you need to do is just shift this to on, and that's it. Once you make this on, all the bot activity not going to be counted under your report. So your report is going to be clean and easy now more than ever. You say you have something to add?
I want to say here that if you don't have the IP addresses, first of all, to find it is you Google it wherever you are. But if you don't have the IP addresses of your clients or your contractors that you work with or anyone that is not considered a potential lead, you can also put their website domains. So where, Gal, when you go back to that HubSpot page, so when you go into the HubSpot page, you see from these referrers, you can actually just put the domains of the companies. So let's say you're working with us, Cacao Media, you can put cacaomedia.co here, and it will exclude our traffic from your site. So any contractors or anybody who is a third party that you don't really consider a customer, you can put their domains here and it will exclude their traffic also.
Don't forget to click save, because otherwise everything that you're going to do in HubSpot not going to be saved. So after every single step, check if you need to save it or not. This is everything. Now that we cover how to exclude the information that you don't want from your bot activities or your people, it's time to understand how to connect your social media accounts into your HubSpot. So HubSpot is an amazing tool, and I'm not just saying that because we're partners. HubSpot is amazing because it gives you basically everything you need in one-stop shop. Yeah, you can manage your social, you can manage your ads, you can manage your analytics tool. Everything that you need, you can manage from HubSpot. So you don't need to go to different kind of system and make changes. You can just do it from here. And in order to do that, basically, you just need to follow the few instructions here below and connect it. HubSpot is going to give you, 1 second, I'll show you. By navigating, again, everything going to be today in settings. So I'm going again to settings, navigating into marketing, and then to social. You're going to see that you have two separate ones, one for social and one for ads. Don't mix up. The ad is only relevant for the ad account, and social is for your organic social account. So it's two different kinds. In order to do that, you need to have access not just to your HubSpot, but also to your company page in the social. As you can see, we have everything connected already, but HubSpot is giving you the option to connect into basically 3 to 4 different networks. Have Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And in order to do that, you just need to choose the system that you want, put your credential, click sign in, and allow it. And once you do that, that's it. You're all connected. You'll see it, edit in here. And you can start creating blogs or posts through this connection. If you put, for example, a different kind of connection that you don't want, you can, of course, disconnect it. Oh, and another step that you need to take. After you're going to connect your personal credential, you need to choose the company page. So, for example, if I'll click on Facebook and Instagram, I got a list of all the pages that I want to connect, and I need to choose one of them and click OK. Once I'll do that, then you're going to see the page added to your account, basically. After you connected your account, as I was saying, you can start creating posts and organic information and articles through HubSpot. You don't need to go into your social media anymore. Just keep in mind that LinkedIn have a slight gap that you can take, which is you can't tag people inside of it because of the entire rule of connection between you and the other people. So you can hashtag whatever you want, but you can't tag people. So just keep it in mind. Lisa, any notes?
No, you did a perfect job on that one. So thank you. I think we covered it. Anybody has questions about social media? Did you come across any, odd things that was happening to your social media accounts? You can feel free to ask. You can raise your hand or just type it. And if not, we'll just continue on to the other integrations we want to talk to you about. All right.
Okay, let's continue. So once basically you connected your social, your landing pages, your website, everything that you want, it's time to think of all the other integration that you want to connect into your HubSpot. It can be out of your Gmail account or 365, depends on which server that you're using. It can be Zoom, basically everything. But right now, let's discuss your inbox. So a lot of your salespeople or the company that you're going to work with, the sales team not going to excite to connect to HubSpot and send emails and to change the entire way they're going to work just to start using HubSpot. A lot of people are regular to work with their emails and on the way that they used to, and not to move from this, which is fine. You don't need to tell them otherwise, because HubSpot is giving your life to be much more simpler. By navigating into your settings, of course, and click on integration and email integration, you can go ahead and connect your private email into HubSpot. So as you can see, I already connected mine, but I'm going to remove it just so you can see how to do it. I'm click on connect an inbox. Mine is under Gmail, but go ahead and choose which one that you want, 365 or otherwise. And of course, it will ask you to turn on the automation, which is fine, continue. And then it will open my Gmail account. Basically, I choose the right one that I want to connect. It will ask me to allow access to different kind of features. And that's it. I'm all set up and I connected to HubSpot. And why is it so important? Once I want to create an email and track that, I don't need to go inside of HubSpot and do it. I can go through my Gmail, and I'll just show you. And by creating a new email for a person who is not part of my system right now, I can log or track people directly through HubSpot. So I don't need to go inside and create a new contact or do other features. As you can see, I have this pop-up in here. I can have access to all the contacts and the tasks. And of course, that once I'm going to write an email, let's say I'm going to write to Unit, another member of our team, I have templates that I can choose from because I connected to HubSpot. Also, I can log or track any kind of email. I can't log it because she's part of our system and it's not going to log her anymore, but I can track if she opened the email. And basically, once they send an email through Gmail or through their other providers, you can see all their emails in HubSpot. So of course, it's not to get in their email and see private messages, but only information that they want to track going to be synced. Of course, you have all the information here and how to do it and all the steps. And now it's time to discuss how to connect your calendar, because HubSpot is giving you, like we said before, everything in one place. So you don't need to use other systems. Basically, a lot of people are going to send you calendar link, or you want to send people calendar link. So it will be much easier. So in order to do that, all you need to go, again, navigating into settings, sales, and then you have meetings. As you can see, I already connected my meeting link and connected my link. But in order to do that, I'm going to show you how simple it is. The first thing that you're going to see, it's this page. You can connect it through Office 365 or to your Gmail calendar. As you realize, I already connect to Gmail, so I just need to choose my account, which one I want to connect it to. Of course, it's going to be my Cacao Media one. And once I have that, I'm all set. You see, just 3 clicks and you're all set. Now, basically, as you can see, HubSpot is opened another page. In order to get to this page and see this link, all you need to go is navigating into Sales, Meetings, and you'll see your meeting link. You can now copy the link and insert it into your email, into your signature. Basically, you can do whatever you want with it. And of course, you can add image to it, so it will be much more personal. As you can see, I didn't have put mine yet, but this is a good time for you to do it. You can choose the duration that you want for people to connect with you. You can choose if you want to connect it to Zoom. So it's basically going to send a Zoom email, a Zoom link every time that you're going to connect with somebody. And if we already discussed about Zoom and how nice it is. So as you know, COVID-19 makes everything shift. And basically, we all started to use Zoom much more often. But not just in crisis mode, we need to use Zoom. Zoom is an amazing tool to use when you have webinars or meetings. And basically, HubSpot have an integral connection into Zoom. And why is it so amazing? Because basically, you don't need to do a lot of the effort and create things in Zoom. It's going to give you the option, but basically it's under your hands to decide where you want to create the landing page and the connection. So in order to do that and show you how simple it is, all you need to go is navigating into settings, scroll down, look for integration and connected app. I'll search for Zoom, but as we know, I'm already connected into one. If not, I can go visit in the app, look for Zoom, and by click on the right one, I have connected app in here. Right now, you can see it's not available for me, but if you're going to click on this, you basically just need to put your credentials for Zoom. Just keep in mind, you need to be not an admin, you need to be owner permission. I know it sounds weird, yes, Zoom have that, but you need to be owner permission in order to do this change. So, and because Zoom is going to be used for webinars and for generic kind of connection, don't put your personal one. If it's the one that's going to run the webinars, it's fine. But if you have one for marketing or sell, a generic one that says sales at or marketing at or info or something like that, try to use this one, because then it will be much more easy if somebody is going to move from the company and then you don't need to create new connections. So all the information is going to be saved in one place. Rita, I think that you have something to say.
Yeah, I just want to say, could you go to your calendar, your Gmail calendar, because I think this is an important hack that most people miss. So sorry that you're so sick today, but thank you for
Sorry.
If you try to open a new meeting, like compose a new meeting, set a new meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So guys, one of the things that people often don't do is connect Zoom to their calendar. And I'll tell you, once you do that connection as Gal did, now you can also add Zoom to your calendar. So whenever you're setting a meeting, it's quite easy for you to link it. So now if she clicks Zoom meeting, click Zoom meeting after you add the video conferencing. So now it's connecting to the Zoom that she has already connected to HubSpot. So if she wants to set a meeting with me, you see how quickly it takes the Zoom meeting inside of the meeting calendar. So this is an important hack that sometimes saves time. Instead of you having to go back to Zoom, set a meeting, and then put a link in the calendar, this is how you can do it quickly and set meetings with your team. These three integrations that Gal just went through is really could be very useful to your sales teams. Again, as she mentioned, not everybody is going to be using HubSpot for their sales processes, but these tools are important for your sales to have as part of their processes for the very reason she discussed, okay? So even though they give pushbacks, I think they would love having these tools because it really saves them from a lot of administrative work. So the why behind what you're doing today is simply first to tell them, hey, we're gonna save you any kind of summaries. We're also saving you the ability to have conflicts between different sales team members, because if one sales team member sent an email to a prospect and another sales team member got that lead also and also sent an email, those prospects sometimes get upset, like, why are you guys not talking to each other? So if you're logging the emails into HubSpot, all the emails are there and everybody can see who's the last email and who's the last person to speak to the prospect and exactly what was said, so they can easily follow up from that point. So at least try to connect those three things to help your sales teams move forward in HubSpot. Okay, go ahead,
And
Gal.
this will also help you to find information quicker, because sometimes, I'm pretty sure you all know, sales don't really like to spread the information or to come and update you according to each and every email they send or meeting they have. But once you can connect it to HubSpot, you have all the information. You don't need them to come and tell you. You can just go ahead, insert into one of their contacts, see what happened. If it's a contact that you bring and you want to see how it moves through the funnel from becoming a lead through an MQL, SQL, and eventually opportunity and a customer, this is the place for you to see what happened to the lead. And it makes your life much more easier. But now, after we create all these amazing connections and all these integration into the system, it's time to move on and basically create the best practice of how creating custom properties in HubSpot. As Rita said in the beginning, HubSpot gives you three kinds of properties for contacts, companies, and deals. In order to do that, you need to work better and not creating, duplicates or irrelevant one and just keep them. HubSpot is already giving you over 500 properties. So find only the relevant one for you. Create new that's just going to answer the need and the information that is missing right now. If you're using a database or an Excel file, like a lot of companies is still using, keep in mind that this is a good time for you to clean your database, clean the information that you have, delete information that you don't find useful. For example, if you're using 5 different countries fields, or if you have different kind of way to write the fields. One is all capital, one is just lowercase, all different kind of. This is a time for you to make the system clear and make everything be aligned. It's not going to happen a lot. So take this opportunity to really dig in and clean your system. And why I so insist about it is because cleaning the database is not going to happen soon. And because you're going to create basically reports and you're going to analyze the information, you as a person need to be able to find information fast, and you want it to be accurate as possible. So, of course, as I mentioned, fields must be written the same way. Keep in mind that notes, tasks, engagements, and attachments can't be imported through a CSV file. You need to export them after or in a different kind of way. HubSpot can support adding attachments to the contacts or companies or deals, but you can't export it as a CSV. Contact owner, and I put it here because something is not very clear to a lot of people. Contact owner is for you to see who is the person who's going to manage and going to be in touch with this person or the company. When creating the new sales pipeline or when understanding your pipeline, try to figure out who is the people that's going to be touched every single contact in each and every step of the way. And this is the time for you to understand when is the marketing is going to be part of it, when is the SDR or the sales team. Basically, this is the time for you to plan all the different owners, and the owner must be a user inside of HubSpot. It just can't be unknown. It, of course, can be unknown. But if in order to receive notifications and manage the information and contacts, they must be a user inside of HubSpot. You need to understand your current sales process. Like I was said before, try to understand if it's work right now. If you want to change it, this is the time for you to do it. Customize and optimize your current pipeline. Make sure you understand and plan, of course, the different stages of the pipeline. This is the key rule to start using any new platform, not just HubSpot. Even if you decided later on today to go back again to a different kind of system. For example, if you understand and analyze the process of contact having before and how they become customers, this is the time for you to really think how you're going to make more contacts like this become a customer. If you have a special key points or like touch points that you have that they touch through the process that you want other people to have as well, this is the time for you to analyze, write it down so everything be clear to all people, sales, marketing, everybody, and then you can move on. Your sales process is unique. Not every company going to have the same sales process. Of course, that e-commerce is not going to be like software engineer, computer program company. So keep in mind that your sales is unique and you need to adjust HubSpot standard sales pipeline to be customized for your needs. In order to do that, basically, all you need to do, again, is navigating into your settings, scrolling to sales, and look for deals. This is the place for you to create new pipelines or create the stages inside of your pipeline. And as I was said, different company has different needs. You can have more than one pipeline. And by click on add, I can create new pipelines. Once I created my pipeline, I can add or change each and every stage name or delete the irrelevant one. Don't forget to save after you do the change. And as you can see, I have next to each stage name, I have the win probability. And why is it so important? The funnel basically that you're going to create have different kind of stages, and each stage represents how contacts and deal are moving down the funnel into sales. So you need to create the probability in order to understand how many customers who are going to be in the stage are basically going to finish as closed won. If you still don't know it, of course, you can start with something and adjust it as you're going through. This is not something that is carved in stone. You can come back and change it later. And the amazing part is, and we're not going to touch this much in this presentation, but I just want to show you, as I created this pipeline, I can go into sales and click on deals. And I have an amazing way to show you how basically you're going to see it. You have two different views. You have one as a table and one as just open information. You can see everything's not marked, this kind of table. And the fun part about this view is that in order to move the deals between the different stages, I don't need to go inside each and every one of them. I can just drag and drop. So HubSpot is giving you an amazing way to manage your information, and you don't need to be an expert or know the system too much. It's very giving you everything you need. So before we're going to move on and talk about the GDPR, is everybody understand? Somebody have a question? Someone? Risa, you want to add something?
No, this was pretty clear. I would suggest though, once you've reached those stages, if you are getting any problems with, seeing anything that isn't working well, or you have problems on your site, feel free to reach out to us and let us check it for you, okay? Because, I mean, what we're trying to show you here are very straightforward parts you can take, but sometimes I think you may get stuck because of how people's websites are built. So especially when you have a large website and things are set up in a different way, and your developers could be complicated. Trust me, we've met some of them already on our way. So if it is that you're having any kind of pushbacks or problems, reach out to Gal or myself, and we'll be happy to jump on a call and just help you set up things correctly. All right?
Perfect. So the next important step is to set your GDPR rule. GDPR rule is, one sec, is the General Data Protection Regulation. It's basically a rule that's only relevant to Europe companies or to companies that work with European companies. It's all about how people are collecting and storing information about people. So keep in mind that these steps need to be take with the legal department. So you make sure that all your database and everything in your information is compliant to the GDPR rule. So you're not missing any kind of step. Because yes, it's not going to be just information that I'm going to show you right now. It's going to have much more than that. So in order to start the compliance process with GDPR, all you need to go is to navigate into settings. And then to, one sec. And then to account default, sorry. And then if I'll scroll a bit down, you can see that I have here the information about GDPR. And once I'll move this into on, I'll basically need to provide privacy consent, cookie, workflow, and all kinds of information about the way that I'm going to collect the information. So as I was said, work with the legal department because it's not going to be finished just with this part. The second step that you need to take after that is to create a pop-up in your website to cookies that people are going to allow you collecting their information. Under each and every form that you have, you need to have a checkbox that says that they're basically give your permission to collect their information, then they agree that you're collecting the information. You need to create a privacy policy page with all the information of how you're collecting the information, why, what are you going to use, and how long you're going to save the information. So yes, you can count on us and ask us all the questions needed because both Risa and myself did it more than a couple of times with different companies. So you can reach us and we can provide you all the kinds of information that you need. And of course, we can work with different legal departments and give them our feedback about what kind of information needs to be put in the privacy policy. And not just that, you can choose what kind of information or the length of the pop-up and checkbox do you want to connect. Rita, do you want to show how to do it in forms or just like this?
No, you can show it both in the forms and here, but yeah, so you can show it from both the back end here and then in the forms.
Perfect. So once, for example, I'll create a form or editing the existing one. One sec. you're going to see that you have a GDPR a field that you can edit. No, it's not one of these. This one. So as you can see, I have a GDPR option, and now I can choose what kind of information I want to present. If it's just a consent checkbox or a checkbox with more information, you can see it became longer, or I just want to put legal information, like a short sentence about it. Basically, it's up to you. Of course, that you can edit each and every one of them, and you don't need to be that long. As you can see, I have the edit here. By clicking on it, I can change the text, delete some of it if it's not relevant, and basically choose what kind of subscription type do you want to include inside of it. So once they agree, they need to become a subscription type, and this is the place for you to do it. Also, you can just put a text like in here with a privacy policy link, and it's also okay. So just make sure that everything is covered and you're not missing anything as part of GDPR, because otherwise your company is going to be in open for lawsuits. As I remember, as I was saying, this is all the things that you need to remember in order to be GDPR compliant. And now it's time to move on of how to make your portal customized to your needs. As we just said before, HubSpot is giving you basically everything you need and giving you so many properties, and not just the properties that you're going to create, but giving you more than that even before. So in order to present to your team, your marketing, sales, and different teams, only the information that is relevant for them, there is a special way to do it. And you don't need to basically show them everything in one place. So by navigating into settings, scroll into properties, and click on record customization tab, you see over here. Now it's the time for you to choose what kind of the record that you want to customize. If you wanted to do it for deals, for contacts, for companies, for tickets, basically you can do it for each and every one of the assets. I'll do it right now for contacts, but basically it's going to be the same for each and every one of them. So once I click edit, it opened me a new page. And now it's time for me to start and search for the information that I want to present. So for example, I want to present HubSpot score because this information is important for me. Or for example, I want less activity days. Any kind of information that you find useful that, and you want to everybody in your team. It's not something personal that just you're going to see. It's everybody that use HubSpot going to see. So keep in mind that not all kind of information going to be relevant to everybody. So just need to keep it short and simple and include all the information that people need. Once you finish and click on save, you can go ahead navigating into contacts. And if I'll click on one of the contacts, doesn't matter which one, you can see the properties that I choose and the one that this company choose on the left-hand side under about the contact. So you can see they choose phone number, contact owner, lifecycle stage, role, department, basically this kind of information that it's important for them. Another way to customize information by going into contact and click on view all properties. It's going to be the same as navigating into settings. It's just another way for you if you don't remember how. And click on set default properties. It's going to open the same page for you. So it's just another way to find it. And again, you can by navigating again into context, you can make sure what kind of order do you want to make this information. So as you can see, I have here the dots on the left-hand side. So by click on it and grab and drag and drop, I can make sure that the information is moving to the right place that I want it. So the most important information is in the top, middle, and in the end is the less relevant for everybody. And this is it. It was very simple and quick to do it. It's not something that's going to take you a lot of time. You just need to realize what kind of information you want to present and show it. Don't forget to click on save, of course. So here are my final tips. Document your sales process. It's going to take a lot of time. And as I was saying, a lot of the things inside of this presentation are going to take you not a lot of time. Let's say, for example, set your email or to set your subdomain. It's going to take you no more than a day if you're counting on other people. But the sales process is something that's probably going to take you more time than other, because you need to discuss the sales team and the marketing and understand how is the better way for them to work, how to move things between the different stages, what are the different stages, and basically what kind of information and properties, fields you want to collect. This is the time for you to really understand your sales needs. Yes, of course, it can be changed according to time, but let's set the ground rules very, very good one time and make adjustments. This way, basically, your consultants feel like they can count on the system and count on your report, because otherwise they feel like there's nothing there for them to see or to use. Make sure you give all your user accounts to the right permission. Don't give people permission to see everything, because sometimes they don't need that. Make sure that only admin can import and export information from the system. So people won't do and import, for example, 2,000 contacts into your system one day and you don't understand how they did it. Or by accident, delete a bunch of people from the system. So give the right people the right permission. And if you need, create teams that only the information of part of the team they can see. Clean your data before import it to HubSpot. Make sure to include only the right information that you want. If there are fields that is not relevant for you, or kind of way you spell the information. Let's say, for example, you have country field. A lot of people forget to change the country field from a single line text from an open field to a drop down. And it caused them a lot of problems during the day, because one person going to write United States and the other one going to send USA or US or U.S.A or whatever you think of. So this is the time for you to plan ahead. And yes, I'm not sure that you're going to think about every little thing, details on the process. But first of all, this is why we're here. And this is why we have the experience. We're going to help you through every step of the way. So don't worry about it. And accept that things may take a while. Like the sales process, things might go wrong. It may not just take you time, it also can take you few rounds to make sure that you're on the right process, or even create 2 or 3 times the same field because you forgot something or you misspelled something. So don't feel frustrated. It happens. Just make sure that things might go wrong and be okay with it. Just make sure that you have another couple of eyes looking at the system and check things that you're doing. Before sending an email, send it to another person in your team to make sure that you didn't forget anything, the subject line, the person who sent the email, or the link that you put the right URL inside of it. Everything is better when you have another pair of eyes looking at it. Questions? Risa, do you want to add something?
Yes, of course. Now I'm going to give you guys a couple of important tips that, I just want to stress about certain things you're going to do in the portal. So I'm going to share my screen. Hold on for a sec. So one of the common mistakes, I just want to spend some time going through common mistakes we see that most companies make in their portals when setting it up. The biggest one is making too many subscription types of their emails. So just to be clear, you go into settings usually, and you go into marketing, and then you go into email. And here you get to be configuring your email templates as you wish. But at some point, you're going to discover that there are different subscription types. And this is where marketers tend to get a bit crazy and they create many subscription types. Now, let's explain what are these subscription types. HubSpot by default has given you these 3 subscription types. It generally means by the word subscription, people have to have had subscribed to those types of emails in order for you to email them. If you create too many subscription types, then and people do not opt into them, then you are considered spamming people. So for example, just to be clear, when you're creating an email in HubSpot, you will eventually come across that they will ask you to select a subscription type. So generally, it is sufficient for you to take whatever HubSpot is giving you. The most popular one you should use is the one that says marketing information, because it's a marketing email that you're sending. If you feel that your business has so many different segments, like you may have a subscription for vendors, a subscription for blog readers, and you want to have all these different things, what would eventually happen is when you're trying to send a mass email to your entire database, like your newsletter, you would have to create that email 3 times and choose all the different subscription types that you have in order to send the email to your entire database. So note of caution, do not create any more subscription types if you don't need it. These 3 are sufficient for your needs. I don't think there's any real, I never saw a real need to have more, but companies insist that they have more. The point is you have to get people to subscribe, which means opt in to those subscription types in order for you to email them, okay? So note number 1, don't do it. The second thing I really wanted to point out in your emails as well, you do have the ability to configure your emails here. You can choose, which colors you want as your accent colors and anything you want to do about your email templates. Now, you can always change them as well when you're actually doing the emails. But if you have a specific brand language in terms of the types of font you need to use in your emails, font size and the colors of the font, this is where you can choose it, all right? A couple more things about it. We talk about email personalization. So, when you want to send those emails where you're going to start with hi first name and you want to personalize it using people's names, sometimes when you import your database into HubSpot, not all the contacts their first names. So you have to have a default in case their first names are missing, because then they will get an email that says, hi, contact first name, and you don't want that happening. So you come into this section of HubSpot and you can choose what the defaults are in case their names are missing. So for example, you would see that if first name is missing here, I can choose there. So it will start by saying hi there if I don't have their first name. If it's like for company and you want to use the company name in an email blast, you can also just choose, sometimes you want to say, this is how we help your company. You can choose and write your company as the default. So it means that if the company name is missing, you can have your text going out saying your company. So whenever you're sending out an email with personalization, you will get a flag that says, hey, you're missing these conditions for if it's missing the details. And you have to come in this section of HubSpot and edit your defaults so people will not get emails with, let's call them HTML tags and HTML lines in it, all right? So this is one thing. Another thing you have to understand is when you're first setting up HubSpot, one of the things they always ask you is to choose your time zone. And when you choose the time zone, you cannot change it for everything you do. Meaning that if suddenly today you have your time zone in Tel Aviv and you want to send out emails based on US time, you have to calculate the times that you're sending those emails for the US time because your system is in Tel Aviv's time. Okay? So don't, remember what time zone your system is set up. And again, it's by default when you set up the system the first time, it's by default Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. So if you know you're usually sending emails to the US and you want to have it by default the US, then you have to choose a US time zone so you don't make mistakes of sending people emails 2 o'clock in the morning.
I want to have another, sorry, Risa, before you going on. You're right about time zone, but HubSpot has a cool feature about it that you can schedule an email and send it by the contact time zone. So you don't really need to remember what time zone are you going to send the email, but by creating and schedule an email, you can click on send based on recipient time zone. And once you define, for example, you're going to send the email on 11 p.m. every day or one day, it's going to be sent out on 11 p.m. for each and every person according to their time zone. So just feel comfortable about the time zone that is relevant for you and for your main audience. But other than that, you can send an email according to their time zone, and that's it. You don't need to remember about it.
Yeah, so that's a good point to solve the issue. Thank you, Gal, because when you're sending the emails, yes, you need to choose this checkbox before you send or schedule, and click send based on recipient's time zones. If I wanted to send this email at 6:14 p.m., everybody will get it at 6:14 p.m. in their time zone. All right. Another thing I want to talk about a bit is about your currencies. You could add more than one currencies in HubSpot if you're operating globally. And again, this is more for your sales teams if you're going to use HubSpot for sales. So you can choose add currency and decide which currency it is. Of course, the limit is that you have to basically do the calculation sometimes of the fluctuation in the rates, okay? So it doesn't automatically update the rate. You have to set the rate. So as you see, the exchange rate has to be set here by you. So I have to make it whatever it is today, and this is how it will be updated. So you have to make sure and come back to the system every couple of days and make sure the exchange rate is correct, or know that you're using it as an estimate and not to invoice people on that exact exchange rate. On this section, you have the ability to do your branding and stuff as well. Of course, you can decide what to do here, but one of the important things, and I will show you, is about adding your logos to HubSpot, because it comes to all your landing pages and everything. And especially, you see how I have this, what you call a favicon on the pages. So if you don't have this, it will just be blank. But if you want to add a favicon, you have to upload a logo here as well, and it will get you to the favicon. And I suggest for SEO purposes, you always put the name of your company as the alternate text for your logo. So if somebody, tries to Google anything about your company, your logo will show up as well, but, because you have your company name in it as well, okay? And of course, you can choose the different colors you want and your company info. Your company info, again, that you set here, you can change it at the bottom of the emails, but by default, it will show up at the bottom of your emails. But when you do create your emails, like you see here, where you create your emails in this section, when you have settings and edit, you can see I can edit here the email addresses that I want to have shown up here as well, okay? But when I click edit, it's taking me to this box, and I can update the email templates here to show the address of my company. So these are the basic things that we wanted to show you in this setup. This is like, what you really have to have done. But in our sessions, as we continue, we will always touch back to the settings, because there are many other things you can do here and you have to understand how to do, but we will cover it in different sessions over the next couple of weeks. But essentially, this is exactly the basic things you must have done to start working with HubSpot, okay? I just want to point out before we end in a while and take any more questions you may have, is that with properties, I know a lot of you are using more sophisticated platforms like SurveyMonkey that gives you so many options for creating like questions and, you know, fields and stuff. So HubSpot isn't that sophisticated yet. The properties, as you notice, when you're creating a property, as Gal showed you, when you click a group, which is either you're creating a property under contact, company, deal, and you click a label, let's call it test for now. When you reach the select field type, these are the field types you have. HubSpot does not allow you to cross different field types or to combine them. So as Gal pointed out, you do want to choose always fields that have options for people to choose, because then when we reach the reporting session, you would see how much easier it is for you to generate reports, okay? If you have even different letters or some words in capitals and some words in not capitals, it will affect your reports. So you always want to choose either one of these options: single checkbox, multiple checkboxes, drop-down select, radio select, or date picker when you're building your fields. Only if it is like your contact us form, you want to have a field that says message, then you can use this text input. But wherever possible, avoid using free text or leaving free text on your forms so they don't confuse, let people fill in every and anything. But sometimes you have a field that says, you ask a question, you give some options, and then you have a field option that says other. And usually in other platforms, when you click other, a pop-up box will say, could you fill out the information that's missing? Like what is other means, or what, you know, fill out what it is. You cannot do that in HubSpot today. So when people choose other, there's no pop-up field that could come up, especially when it's part of a field that the person has to fill out. If it's in a form, it can be done, and we'll show you that when we're building the marketing forms. But in the properties itself, you cannot set up a property that says, okay, when I choose other, you know, choose something else. So if I see other here, just to show you, I can't, if I add an option, it just allows me to choose an option. There's no condition or there's no logic within HubSpot's property forms, okay? So this is basically it. This is what we wanted to cover with you today in terms of anything. But I'd love to hear from you if there are any types of integrations or anything that you're facing right now within your company in setting up HubSpot that you're not sure of and would like to ask us. We'd be happy to take those questions from you now. Or were we that good that we covered everything and every question that you had?
Sounds like it is.
I know, Gad, you did an amazing job. Thank you so much. This was really good.
Both of us. Both of us.
But guys, I just want to stress, join the HubSpot LinkedIn group, and we would definitely give you stuff.
We have a question.
Yeah, you see. Oh, dear.
Yeah, go ahead.
Try to unmute yourself, Odia.
Yeah. Odia, can you please unmute yourself? Or
Hi,
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Great. Does HubSpot integrate with NetSuite?
NetSuite, what is NetSuite?
It's yeah, I never heard of it as well. It's a CRM for Oracle, I believe.
Okay, so when HubSpot, you see that marketplace that Gal showed you. So what you can do whenever you want to figure out if HubSpot integrates with something, let me just quickly show you. When you go into integrations and connected apps, you could visit the app marketplace, right?
You do. You have that. You have a connection for it.
And you look for NetSuite. So you see
Oh,
they have
great.
So you can click on it and see it. But I'll tell you something, NetSuite, I see they coming from PieSync. So HubSpot has formed a relationship with an integration company called PieSync. So what that means is you have to have a subscription for PieSync to facilitate this level of integration. It's not a native integration, okay?
It is.
So just like how we showed you for WordPress, or we showed you for Zoom that you just click a button and go, when you do this, you would see that they're going to ask you that you have eventually that you have a subscription within PieSync. PieSync from HubSpot subscription, you must have a starter or pro plan from PieSync.
Oh, okay.
All
I
right.
can't use like Zapier or any other.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. But this stuff you need to check with Zapier. And also you need to check if it's not a free version of Zapier, because HubSpot is the paid one. So of course you need to have the paid version of Zapier, but you need to check if NetSuite is part of it, because different systems are using different kind of integration.
So I should check with NetSuite support. That's what you're basically saying.
I would just Google it and see if you have that connection with Zapier. And I'm pretty sure that if I'll check that one.
Yeah, Zapier usually connects with everything, but I'll tell you the honestly truth with Zapier. Zapier's connections demand a lot of maintenance because they drop very often, and you have to be going in like every 2 to 3 days to make sure the connection is working, because you'll be losing data. So
first of all, I checked and you do have a connection, but as Risa said, because we did a connection within different system and HubSpot through Zapier, and Zapier have a strict rule that, first of all, they're not getting a lot kind of information, and not all the fields can go through it. So you need to keep that in mind. And the second thing is that you need to go inside. I prefer even every day, because it will sometimes drop off every 5 seconds, because contacts try to be synced and there's an error and it's just going to shut your connection. So every time you need to go inside, check the connection, check why it stopped.
Oh, it's a lot of maintenance.
Yes,
like
it is a lot of maintenance.
Unfortunately,
this is why
yes.
PySync is better, because PySync has a more secure connection with HubSpot. So when they have the integration like this, it's better to always choose what HubSpot is offering you, because Zapier doesn't have a relationship with HubSpot. So it's kind of tricky to maintain it.
And then you don't have a third-party connection that you need to go outside and check it every single time. You can just go through HubSpot and do it.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you, Tali. Tali says, always so much value. Thank you. Happy that you're here and happy that you get it. Shmuel, are you going well? I know you recently got HubSpot, so was this helpful for you? You can unmute yourself, Shmuel, if you want to say something. But yeah, and Laura as well, was it okay? Is there anything that you're doing within 1 hour translation that you think you need help with? Thank you, Adia. Great.
And yeah, Tali, you need to help with your HubSpot properties. This is what we're here for. We can help you to set up your properties, or even think about what kind of properties do you need and how to create them, or even try to how to connect them to different assets inside of your HubSpot. So feel free to contact us.
All right, guys. So thank you for your time today. See you next week, same time, same place. And we will be doing some exciting stuff, okay? Look out for the email that we will be sending you shortly with the recording and a summary of highlights of things to be aware of, so you can help you through your integration and your setup of HubSpot. So thanks again and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.